clubs. Big event. Hi, yes, put your hand up, give a wave. The clowns are here to welcome you. And the reason this is our big event is because the foundation, Laguna Woods Foundation, has given us the grant money to sponsor this event for you. Everything is free. A raffle with wonderful prizes donated by our very best restaurants. But that's not the big part of today. The incredible Hochberg's here to start us off with music after we thank the Foundation of Laguna Woods for providing us this opportunity to celebrate the 90-plus study. Started here in 2003 when we were Laguna Leisure World. And Dana is our featured speaker. She will be on after we have some music by by Sharon, and well, first it's going to be Mark, and Sharon is going to be after that, after you eat. But the important thing right now is we're celebrating 90 plus, and we have some people here who are 90 plus, and the important one is here she is, Salaway, Betty. Betty, can you raise your hand? And Betty and her son Gregory, will you give Betty a hand? She is one of the current Laguna Woods people still in the 90-plus study. So you'll be able to talk to her later because I know she has a lot of her own personal history to share. And if we don't have time to do that with a mic today, because Dana's going to give you a lot of past and present and future history, we're going all the way with UCI today from that first study that UCI has taken us to now the current, which Gloria in the back has a table and is going to talk to you about at her table at the very end, and that's called the Beacon Study. She's waving it up. She's got handouts to share with you. She's already a member of the Beacon Study, as is Stephanie. Candace, the board member who's visiting us. Is Deborah David here yet? Deborah David said she's, yes. Okay, so we've got people here who are already involved in that study. I might not be a candidate because I already was in another study, but if you even think you can be a candidate or want to be a candidate, talk to one of these people because, and especially Gloria has the handouts, okay? We've got special featured prizes that I just want to mention. Everything is free. The raffles are free. There's a doll raffle. If you only want the doll raffle, because there's 3 dolls, you have a lot of chances to get a doll. But if you want to be in the full raffle and not the doll raffle, then the full raffle has everything in, prizes starting at $25 on up. There's 14 of those. Okay, enough of that. On with the fun. I'm introducing, as you know, I'm Grace Carpenter, the current president of the Fifth Brain Club. Stephanie Colantoni, our vice president, she does everything tech and everything behind the scenes. I could not do this job without Stephanie's help. Give us a hand for Stephanie. And we've even got her husband, Paul, over there assigned as a table captain. We have table captains because this is a collaborative game. Everybody wins. There's a prize for everyone today. And we hope many of you will win some of the raffle prizes. We have at least 14 of those. Okay, we have the past president, Sunshine, who's going to give us a few remarks. And the first let's start with your remarks, and then we'll go right into Mark leading us with Be a Clown as everybody finishes their lunch or gets their lunch. Okay, Sunshine, let's hear it from you.
Thank you, Grace. Mary Grace. Okay, here is a little history of the Fit Brain Club. It was 2010, just after my husband, David Hartman, and I produced 2 musical benefit shows under the Sunshine Performance Club banner, where we donated the funds raised to Alzheimer's Association. A new idea began to take root. we saw a need in the village for a club that could offer education and support regarding brain health. With the backing of Alzheimer's Association as our parent organization, David and I founded a new village club. It was called the Alzheimer's Club that same year. I changed the club's name to Alzheimer's OC in 2016 to reflect the rebranding of the parent organization when they went to Alzheimer's Orange County. Their support continued and our mission remained strong. In May 2020, the club underwent the final name change. Alzheimer's Orange County staff had a name-changing contest, and they presented the two winning names to me to make a choice. So I got to choose the name Fit Brain Club. So that's how that happened. The name, I felt, better reflected the purpose, the proactive, the educational nature of our monthly presentations, and the spirit of vitality that we hope to foster. From 2010 to 2022, each club meeting began with lighthearted songs, one by David, one by me, to bring the joy of music to a serious subject. David's deeply resonant baritone voice soared through the room, filling it with warmth and strength. By the end of our song sessions, the audience was always smiling, uplifted by the power of melody and connection. After I lost my beloved David due to a fall in 2022, I stepped down as president and passed the torch to Mary Grace Carpenter, who now leads the Fit Brain Club with dedication and care. Today, under Mary Grace's direction, the tradition of musical joy continues. Mark Hawkberg provides delightful entertainment, sharing his remarkable talent at the piano and keeping the spirit of the Fit Brain Club alive and vibrant. Through every name change, leadership transition, and musical moments, the Fit Brain Club has always been a place of learning, laughter, and love. A legacy built on caring and harmony. And it continues onward. There we go.
Thank you, Sunshine. That was wonderful history for us all to know, and including me. I learned from it too. Okay, let me see if there's any other announcement that we need to make before we begin. As I said, it's collaborative. When you fill out your prizes after Mark does his little be a clown to make you all celebrate the joy of having our clown club welcome you and participate in this event today. I'm looking for my list of all their names, but you know what? It's better if they approach you and you ask each of them their names. I think you'll guess who they are. We've got everybody from, raise your hand, happy.
Clowns, come up forward. Come up and upstage us.
Okay.
Come on up. Come on up and
Yes,
upstage
come
us
on
during
up.
the song.
Come on
During
up
the
while
song.
we sing the song.
Get
Be
the
a
clown. Get the clowns down
Everybody
here,
get
up
ready
here.
to be a
We're
clown.
gonna do the song, and I want you to totally upstage us.
Here we go.
Be a clown, be a clown. All the world loves a clown. Show 'em tricks, tell 'em jokes, and you'll always top the top folks. Dress in huge baggy pants and you'll ride the road to romance. A butcher or a baker, ladies, never a place. A barber for a ball would be a social disgrace. They all will come to call if you can fall on your face. Be a clown, be a clown, be a clown. Be a clown, be a clown. All the world loves a crown. Be a crazy buffoon, and the damsels, they will all swoon. Be a crack jackanapes, and they'll imitate you like apes. Why, be a great composer with your rent in arrears. Why, be a major poet, and you'll owe it for years. When crowds will pay to giggle if you wiggle your ears. Be a clown, be a clown, be a clown. When the clowns go marching in, oh, when the clowns go marching in, I want to be in that number. When the clowns go marching in, oh, when the clowns go marching in, oh, when the clowns go marching in. Marching in. Thank you, clown. That's it. For now.
Meal served, yes. Okay. Oh, that's perfect. They want to join you. They're suggesting that each one of them would like to be at a different table. So they're coming around. So get ready for a clown to appear at your table. Just get ready. Oh, Carol, I think that our our 90-plus study friend, yes. See what time we are? 1:20. This is perfect. We're on schedule for each of you. This is a collaborative game. Some of you might not have an individual, where is this here? If you don't have an individual trivia questionnaire, don't worry. We hope that there are enough, but it's okay, because everybody wins a prize. Look at your table. There is a table prize for you as a table to decide which one at the table gets that prize. Then there will be individual prizes for everyone else at the table who doesn't get the, quote, table prize. So I hope you can figure that one out. And we want you to figure out your trivia questionnaires. At this time, we want you to answer true or false to these questions. It's not competitive. It's for you to discuss at your table. So get ready with your pens. If you do not have a pen, oh, here comes Mary. Mary Geib, come on in. We've got a seat for you. Perfect. The raffle tickets are going around, getting collected. So as soon as we finish with this, we'll go on with the raffles. Visiting us today from Hogue is Dr. Dan Nadeau. Where's Dr. Dan? Oh, here he is. He's coming up to the mic. Dr. Dan has been one of our favorite speakers at Orange County Alzheimer's meetings of the Fit Brain Club, and he's written a new book. Show us your new book.
So I wrote a book in 2002 that was co-authored by Jim Joseph, chief of the neuroscience lab at Tufts in Boston, and he showed improved memory and motor skills in older animals by feeding them blueberries. And then, so this is kind of a spin-off of that first book. So it's all about the benefits of eating foods like salads and berries and healthy things like that, and how they maintain brain power for people. This book actually, while the first one kind of describes foods, their colors, what's in them, and why they're good, this is more by system. So it talks about the brain, talks about the skin, talks about the heart, and how to kind of achieve health in those various systems through eating those colorful fruits and vegetables. I do want to thank you so much for having me today and doing so much for these great people here. Right.
Thank you, Dr. Dan Nadeau from Hoag. Thank you. He's a great endocrinologist. He happens to be my endocrinologist. Okay, so this goes on the raffle table. Which one of you will definitely win? I see Julia. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, here we go. Where is Alzheimer's Orange County? Deborah Morse, where are you? Come on up here. She's back there at the Alzheimer's Orange County table, and we need her up here because she's the new, quote, Dan Daly. He used to come and be our sponsor every month. Remember Dan? Raise your hands and we'll give Dan a hand, even though he's now on a medical leave of absence. I could be, but I'm not. Deborah's here from Alzheimer's Orange County to give you a few words.
Few words. Yes, I'm the new Dan Daly. Thank you. Yeah, we love Dan, and he's resting and getting better, and I'm here until or if he ever comes back. So anyway, it's so good to see all of you here. I love older adults, and I love the fact that you're all here, and my favorite part of this, I have to say, are these clowns. If I move to Laguna Woods, I know I'm going to be a clown. I have to, because you can be incognito and be completely nuts and be okay. Anyway, we'd love to see you at the Brain Fit Club. It's the second Monday of every month. And our next speaker was going to be me, but it's not, because I'm going to be on vacation. But it's Lauren Weiss. She's a director of our educational programs at Alzheimer's Orange County. She is phenomenal. So please come and see her.
October 13th.
Yeah, October 13th. All right.
And we're glad you're with us today.
Yes, and thank you so much for being here. And I'm sure Mary Grace really appreciates that too.
Deborah is a gerontologist. She will answer any questions you have back there at the at Alzheimer's information table. At the other information tables, as I said, at the end of the event, give her a hand, yes. At the end of the event, we have Gloria at Muldo at the beacon table. She's got handouts to pass on that. And oh gosh, Michael Savaric, you want to come up and say from Saddleback Memorial, they're another sponsor today. And then we have Mary McFadden here. She's from Seniors Helping Seniors, Alzheimer's Orange County. And Paulette Gossett from O'Connor Mortuary. They give us the pens. They give us everything good right up even after the moment of our deaths, because I've been involved with them for several funerals, and they're my favorite mortuary. I hope they become yours when it's necessary, not for a long time. We want you to celebrate like we're celebrating the oldest person here today with her son Greg, and she's the original member of the club. So it's 11:30, and we do have time to hear a few words from her. Greg, would you introduce your mom for us? It's you.
Yep, so this is my mom, Betty Soloway. She's a longtime member of the 90 Plus study, not the original member. Anyway, she's 105 now. Still living independently by herself. And yeah, she still does folk dancing. She says the secret is folk dancing and chocolate, not necessarily in that order. So, anyway, so, you want to say anything?
Thank you so much. This is wonderful to be here.
Thank you so much, Betty. Okay, do we have any other members? There were some who came up to me at the last meeting, and they told me they were over 90 years old as well. Is there anyone else here over 90 who would like to say a few words? Yes, yes, yes. Where are you? Whoa. Where? I can't tell. There's nobody here over 90. Is it you?
She's in yellow. She's in yellow.
Oh, she's in yellow. Okay. It's not you. Kelly? Hi. Kelly? Ellie. Hello, Ellie.
I just came for the lunch.
Lunch 1 and lunch 2.
I just raised my hand. I thought I'd be in a group of people raising their hand. I have nothing special to say, actually, and I'll happily pass the mic to someone who has a good message.
You had a good message. We want to be like you, Ellie. 2 lunches in one day? Yeah. Woo! We're going over here to one of the first people I met. Okay, first here and then back. When I came to Laguna Woods, of course I joined a singing group. Well, the first one I met was Julia. And Julia made it here today. She's with Maria and probably an entourage. Who else are you with, Julia?
I'm Julia Smith.
Julia Smith.
Yeah, I'm a Chinese Smith.
A Chinese Smith, I love it.
Well, my husband was a Smith, okay? I'm 94, and when I was 9 years old, I was supposed to die of tuberculosis, and I survived because God had mercy on me. I didn't expect to live this long. So if you want to know about my life, that struggle against diseases, and I've been handicapped since I was a child. But then I wrote my memoir. Here you can read about what happened to me and how I overcome my difficulties in life. Physical problem, financial problem, mental problem, social problem. But the title of my book is Yes, I Can.
Yes. Yes, she can, and yes, we can.
My circumstance to God who strengthened me. And she read my book. I published it 2 years ago.
Yes.
If you're interested to know, I wrote my book to help others, people that are going through problems in life. There's a way to overcome your circumstances, and it tells you what to do, okay?
Okay, Julia.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. She's got the whole neighborhood here. I met Joanne through Julia, a licensed clinical social worker who's offered to do a session on families, and we're looking for a panel. Oh, that's you. They were at the same meeting where they said wouldn't we like them?
Gloria Guzman and I offered to do one on definition of family as we grow older. And we have a lot to say, and we would be thrilled to have a panel. So if any of you would like to be part of a panel about family as we define it as we age, come see me, Sharon Roja.
Thank you, Sharon. And we'll be doing that as a Fit Brain Club meeting in February because many of us, first I got divorced and I thought, are we still a family? Then my husband died and are we still a family? So we might go through many changes where we question what is family in our lives when we lose someone that we love. So I think this is going to be fabulous. Thank you. And I met her through Joanne. Yes. And I met Joanne at Julia does fabulous cooking. Can you believe it? With Maria's help, and they put on fabulous meals that I'm often invited to. So we met with music. She gave me one of my favorite songs, which is, you know, the author of the poem Trees, set to music. And now we have another one. Oh my gosh, you look like you're about 65. How old are you?
94.
94. What's your name?
My name is Dottie, and I've been here 30 years at the village, so it's been really nice.
30 years in Laguna Woods? What's your favorite thing to do? Say you're a member of the Fit Brain Club.
Well, I just came for the first time
Oh, good.
last month to the Fit Brain Club.
Oh, when you heard about the event?
Well, I was looking in the Globe,
Yes.
and I saw that, and I thought it looked interesting.
Well, thank you. And your name again?
Dottie.
This is Dottie. And how old? 94? Wow, she's going to be, I hope, a continuing member of the Fit Brain Club. Okay, are we ready? Let me see what time we're at. I think we're at that raffle time. Let me see. Okie dokie. Have you had chance to fill in your trivia questionnaire? Have you had chance to talk among yourselves? Raise your hand if you need more time to talk to your table mates about this. Okay? Okay, good. More time. Let's do 5 more minutes where you speak collaboratively and answer the questions. Remember, you decide who gets the table prize at your table. That's a collaborative decision. Every table gets the prize. They take the centerpiece home, but you decide who at your table gets it. Then we will do individual prizes, and we will end with the raffle and one more song that we can all sing together. Okay? time, our speaker is ready to begin. Please give a warm welcome to the researcher and one of the co-authors of the 90-plus UCI study begun here in Leisure World, 2003, right, Dana? You're not that old. She must have been like in high school. Okay, so the Fit Brain Club, the foundation of Laguna Woods, presents Dana Greenia.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Can you hear me okay? Okay. I'd rather not hold the mic if I don't have to. So I'm here to talk about the 90-plus study. It's a study that's well known throughout the world, the only study studying people 90 and over. There could be more now, but when we started, we were the first ones. And it's within the UCI Institute for Memory Impairments and Neurological Disorders. Thank you again for having me. So anyone recognize this woman? Her name is Madame Jean-Louise Calmet. She was born in Arles, France. And she has the longest living lifespan in the world that we know of. So if people might want to guess, how long did she live? 122. Good job. I got 122, so that's correct. 1875 to 1997, which is really amazing. And I can't believe to this day, no one has outlived her. Right now, the longest living female is 115. In our study, we had a gentleman, he lived to be 107, and President Trump sent him a card, a birthday card. It used to be like 20 years ago, or I don't know, maybe 30 years ago, people got birthday cards when they got to their 100th birthday from the president. But now people are living longer and longer, so it's not happening like it did before. But with that one male participant, that was so unique that he made it to 107 here in California. Anyway, so she is the marker. She's the start for us to think about people living longer and longer lives, which is just amazing. I can tell you a little story about her living in France. She had this great apartment in Paris, and back then, if you were older, another younger couple could start paying money into the apartment so they could take it over when the older person passes away. So this couple did that with her, a 47-year-old man, and at the time, Madame was 90. And here we are talking about 90-year-olds. She was 90, so they started making payments. They paid for 10 years. They paid for 10 more years, and 10 more. So the man, I guess he just couldn't take it anymore. He up and passed away at 77. So look at that. He's 47, she's 90. Who would have ever thought, right, that she would outlive him? And his wife, I mean, she still wanted that apartment, so she paid a little bit too. I don't know if she ever got it. But I think they paid like triple the market value of the apartment. But she just kept going. It's amazing. And the other thing about her, I have to tell you, my daughter, when she was just 6 years old, I was, working on these slides, and she looked at this picture and she said, "Mom, like, why is she in that cage?" And she's only 6 years old. And I said, "Oh, she's the longest living woman, Danielle, And I said, "She's lived to be 122. Maybe you'll make it that far. Maybe you'll live to be 122. She actually said to me, "Oh, Mom, I will have to have a much better life to make it that far." She said that at 6 years old, and she is so right. If we're going to live long like that, we want to live well, right? Living long is amazing, but you're all here today, which is fabulous. And who knows, the next person to be 122 could be in this room. I hope so. And I hope we all make it to 100, including me. All right. Here she is again. She actually rode her bike in her 90s. There she is at her 121st birthday party. So at age 117, she did have a test done on her cognitive skills. We call it the mini mental state exam. And she actually scored well enough to show some cognitive decline, but she did not have dementia, which is amazing. She holds the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest human lifespan. She loved to exercise. She was a mom, a stay-at-home mom. She didn't work. She loved to paint. She ate a Mediterranean diet. She loved chocolate. And she smoked. She smoked through her 90s, if you can believe that. She only quit because she got macular degeneration and was afraid she wouldn't see the cigarette and the house would burn down. So she stopped smoking, thank goodness. But actually, she outlived her own daughter and a grandson, which is unbelievable. Anyway, like I said, she sets the place, she sets the standard for this talk that I'm doing today. And if increases in life expectancy continue, more than half of all children born today will make it to 100. And it's actually 103 in the United States. And again, there's such a burden socially and economically for people with dementia or that are impaired. The cost is, I think, triple the cost of all heart disease and cancers combined. And you can imagine the caregiving, because you can have dementia and still go on living for many years, especially women. Now, unfortunately, men don't live as long. And according to life in the world, females have the longest living lifespan. So I'm sorry, fellas, but maybe that'll change. Like I said, we had a man live to be 107. And I think with healthcare, great healthcare today, things can change. But really, like in our study, it's pretty much 2/3 women over 90. Here is the population growth among 90-year-olds in 2001. So by 2050, over 10 million over 90. So you can see again the impact that is going to have on life in the world. Okay, this is a little graph about incidence of dementia in different countries and looking at when people might get dementia. Will it be when they're 65? Will it be when they're 90? So here, like Germany, it looks like it's going to increase the risk, right? So at 65 through 80, 85, the risk goes up a little bit with all these countries. And then here, sometimes it goes down. Like, does the risk go down when we get to be 90? I kind of was hoping that was the case, And at the end, I'm going to tell you what we found with our 90-year-olds here in the United States. Again, about dementia, we also had it years ago, it's a little bit better now, that people could die and have dementia and not know why. What was the cause? Was it Alzheimer's disease? Was it vascular disease? And again, 30 years ago, we didn't know as much as we know today. And dementia needs to be seen on autopsy by the neuropathologist, has to dissect the brain to actually confirm the different diseases that could be in it. But in this study, it showed with people dying in their 70s with dementia, we didn't know the cause in 5%. And 21% of all cases of those dying in their 80s, and half of all dying in their 90s. So that's just incredible to me too. But again, I think now in 2025, we know a lot more. I'm going to talk about a diagnosis that's a recent finding for us, so I will let you know. But yeah, it was nearly half in 90-year-olds where the cases were unknown as to why. So why study the oldest old? They're the fastest growing segment of the population. They've been excluded from many aging and dementia studies. So when my doctor started it, Dr. Claudia Kawas, Clinical trials for memory problems or any kind of health problems, you would have to be like 65 to 80 at the most, right? Now maybe that's changing, but they were excluded from many aging and dementia studies, so that's why we wanted to study them. And many population-based studies have low numbers of oldest old. And the things that were unknown when we started doing our research, we didn't know what were the risk factors related to living longer, or what's going to protect you so you do live longer. And what is the prevalence and incidence of dementia, and what are the risk factors and protective factors related to dementia that we found, and what are the different types of dementia. So again, I'm going to talk about the study, I'm going to talk about things that have promoted longevity that we found, about dementia, the incidence and the risk factors, and then show you some slides about the diseases and how they match and how they're seen in the brain on autopsy. We were on 60 Minutes with Leslie Stahl. We've been in many, many magazines. We're actually on 60 Minutes twice with her, in 2014 and again in 2021, or 2020, sorry. But we have been written up many, many times. And our study started here in Laguna Woods when it was called Leisure World. It was a study from USC. That scientist worked with us to start the study here. Residents in this retirement community were asked to enroll. There were 14,000 enrolled in 81 to 85. So then when it came to be the year 2000, these people were turning 90. And we wanted to, tap into those people for our study to start with anyway. They were primarily white, 2/3 female. The median age at enrollment, 73 back then. They were well educated, and they filled out surveys about their health in 83, 85, 92, 98, where they were asked questions. What did they eat? Did they exercise? What did they do for fun? So again, our study is observational. It's based on what people recorded in these earlier studies, or questionnaires, I mean. So I have some videos to show you.
It's always been a dream of mankind to live forever. Since the start of the 20th century, we have increased life expectancy in this country by a remarkable 30 years, from just 49 in 1900 to almost 79 today. And more of us are making it into that group we all hope and kind of dread joining, the over 90 crowd. Affectionately dubbed the oldest old, men and women above the age of 90 are now the fastest growing segment of the US population. Yet very little is known about the oldest old, since until recently there were so few of them. So what determines which of us will make it past age 90? What kind of shape we'll be in if we do? And what can we do to up our odds? Finding out is the goal of a groundbreaking research study known as 90 Plus.
Born on April 21st, 1914.
My birthday is February 7th, 1918.
I was born on August 25th, 1920, and I'm 93 plus.
June 15, 1918, and it was, I'm sure, a lovely day.
Do you feel 95? What age do you feel?
I feel about 52. Not really.
What they have in common, other than having lived a combined total of almost 400 years, is that decades ago, they all lived in a retirement community called Leisure World, 45 miles south of Los Angeles.
Hi there, and welcome to Leisure World, a new way of life designed for alert and active people 52 years or older who want to get the most out of life.
Today, it's still a retirement community, and they're still getting the most out of life, though it's no longer called Leisure World. It's now its own city, Laguna Woods.
The words Leisure World, they consider themselves active.
Active world.
Active world.
Dr. Claudia Kawas spends a lot of time in Laguna Woods these days. She's a neurologist and professor at nearby UC Irvine who discovered the research equivalent of gold here. Information gathered from thousands of Leisure World residents back in 1981, with page after page of data about their diet, exercise, vitamins, and activities.
14,000 people
14,000.
answered this questionnaire in 1981. Many of them, if they were still alive, would now be over the age of 90.
She saw a rare opportunity to study what worked and what didn't.
So did you try to find them?
We went after all 14,000, and if they were still alive, we wanted to find where they were.
With $6 million of funding from the National Institutes of Health, Kawas and her team set out to find out who had died, when they died, and to convince those who were still living and over 90 to sign up.
And you're how old now?
I'll be 103 months.
We're going to have a party.
Good.
Jane Whistler
I love a party.
is one of the more than 1,600 men and women they found and enrolled as subjects in the 90-plus study. They are checked from top to bottom every 6 months.
Big smile?
Their facial muscles,
Excellent.
reflexes, balance,
3, 4, 5.
how they walk, how fast they can stand up and sit down,
Fantastic.
and most importantly, how their minds are working.
I'm going to say and show you 3 words for you to remember. Shirt, brown, honesty.
Shirt, brown, honesty.
Perfect. Now please spell world.
They are given an hour-long battery of cognitive and memory tests.
Good. Now spell world backwards.
DLROW.
Asked to connect letters and numbers.
There you go.
And to remember.
All right. What 3 words did I ask you to remember earlier?
Brown, shirt.
You want a little hint?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that word honesty, charity,
Honesty.
or modesty? Yes.
So again, the study started, and it's now in Irvine at UC Irvine, but it started in Laguna Woods in a clinic. And yeah, most of you live here, and you know exactly what it's like here. But the people were just amazing. So our goal in research was to potentially modify risk factors that may contribute to the prevention and delay of the development of Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. We got together in 2003, and we were able to recruit 1,140 survivors. So remember, the number was about 14,000. Like 7,000 died before making it to 90, and 3,500 died that were over 90, leaving about 2,000 people left for us to recruit. And we did. We got almost 1,200 people back in 2003 to join. Today, we have studied 2,064 people over these years, and they are evaluated every 6 months. We do neuropsych testing. We do the physical that you saw. And we also had them do neuroimaging, where we asked them to do brain PET scans and MRIs. And then, if they were willing, we hoped that they would enroll into the 90-plus autopsy study and agree to donate their brain. With the assessments, the intake, we would get medical history, demographics. With the testing, we test memory, language, executive function skills, which means like, can you do your own checkbook? You know, can you turn on the TV with the remote or get your coffee maker working? We do the neuro and physical exam. We had their family members answer questions for us, do questionnaires. We did some DNA studies with blood, and again, the brain imaging and brain donation. So with physical performance, you saw a little bit of that already, but up and down, walking, and even hand grip, we tested as well. We traveled all over the country for them too, even Puerto Rico. So if you were in the study and you moved, we would still follow you and see you wherever. So there were 2 people in Hawaii that our staff loved to go to, you know, until unfortunately the people passed away and then we couldn't go anymore. But our staff was wonderful at traveling to all these states, the tester and the examiner, which is the doctor. And again, we were all over the world, but mostly here in Orange County are most people today. We looked at their medical histories at baseline, and this is interesting to show that in the 90s, almost half have high blood pressure. And osteoarthritis is high. Even cancer, but yet they outlived it, okay? Macular degeneration, high cholesterol. You can see the list of all of the diagnoses here. Diabetes is at the bottom. That one was, we saw some people with diabetes. Today, they're treated differently and much better and can live longer. But years ago, not many made it much more than 90 with diabetes. And then again, strokes and heart attacks were in the histories too. So what did we find that's related to living longer? We looked at vitamins, drinks, longevity. What helped for these people to keep going? How many think vitamin C might help? Okay, or vitamin A, or vitamin E. I thought maybe vitamin E. Okay, here we go. So nope for vitamin C, no for vitamin A, no for vitamin E. How about calcium? Okay, no. Now remember, it's an observational study, so it's based on what people reported eating and drinking when they were young, in the 80s. So soft drinks, tea. Tea is, I'll talk about tea in a second, but basically tea alone was no. Body mass index. Yes, so it was better to have a little bit more weight when you're older, in your 90s. You don't want to be too frail or too thin. It was better to have, you don't want to be obese, but it was better to have some weight. So eat all your dinner, that's good. And then activities, exercise, yes. Even leisure activities. So, your card games, you're sitting together with bingo. And then, okay, how about, let me see. Oh, I'm sorry. How about caffeine? Yes, we found the people that reported having 2 cups of coffee a day live longer than those that didn't have coffee or have any caffeine. And it included caffeine in chocolate, like Madame, like our 122er. Yeah, she had chocolate. So that was a yes. And then how about alcohol? Yes. We found those that drank or reported drinking 2 glasses of alcohol a day live longer than those that abstained. Now, we never tell people to start drinking, but this was just what was reported. And yes, we did find that those that did live longer than those that did not. And it didn't matter what it was, wine, beer, or other. Again, about body mass and living longer, we did find that the BMI, the risk of, was increased by 53% with that extra weight to live longer. And then activities, okay, so this is exercise. We found that yes, you definitely would live longer if you did 15 minutes of exercise, a little bit more of 30 and 45 a day, but no difference if you did 45 minutes, an hour, or 2 hours. So you're good even with the 15 minutes. And then with other activities, these were the ones that you're not as, moving around. Although I will say with the exercise, that included gardening, so that's a good thing too. It included, light exercise as well. But here here's gardening. Okay, gardening helped here. Sewing, board games, and yes, they did help you live longer if you did participate rather than not. And I think mostly to stay social, not be depressed, interact with each other. Those are all really good things to do. Here, alcohol and caffeine. We did show alcohol, 1 or 2 glasses a day, reduce your risk of dying up to 18%. And caffeine, again, reduced the risk of dying by 10%. Now we'll talk about dementia. What is dementia? Well, it's a decline in our mental abilities that are severe enough to interfere with our daily life. So causes of dementia in the elderly, Alzheimer's disease is number 1, 52%. Vascular was second. That's the people that may have had strokes or bleeds in the brain. Others, or mixed dementia, people could have AD and strokes. The other diseases, one is Lewy body, which is a different type of dementia. It's not typical with memory going down as Alzheimer's is. It shows fluctuations. You can have a good day one day, and then the next day, not so good. And that one showed more impairment with executive function or making the coffee. And they also had sleep disturbances, trouble sleeping. So it was, kind of rare, but it's still found in the brain. And then frontotemporal dementia, just 2%. Most people that have that get it early and die young with it. FTD is not a good one to have. It's where there's inappropriate behavior and just, maybe a lot of cursing and just acting very strange. But again, it was very rare in 90-plus-year-olds. And then Parkinson's disease. It's the neurological disorder of movement. They say if you have that and you live long enough, your memory, you are supposed to decline and get dementia. And then other is just other things like traumatic brain injury, alcohol abuse. What else? Can't think of another one right now. It'll come to me. But there are others that were 8%. That could have caused it in the elderly. So with 90 plus, with our numbers, 2,064, 74% women, most of them educated with a college degree or higher. They lived even home alone, 24%. Some in nursing homes and boarding care at 28%. ALs are popular, 17%. Most were married. But what's interesting about this is with all of these people, so some died back in 2005, some died yesterday, we have 3 diagnoses that we would give them with their testing. So normal, we had 24% stayed normal. Cognitive impairment, no dementia is, you have some problems, but you can still, do things for yourself and whatnot, which is, it's not a bad thing to have. It's better than full dementia. So that was 25%. But look at half, 50% did have dementia. So making it look like the risk goes up with living longer. And I want to just tell you about our people today. So we have 132 current participants. Is anyone in the study in the room? Because we do have, hi, oh my gosh, how are you? You look great. So thanks for coming. Oh, I'm going to talk to you when we're done. So look, now again, they're younger. They're starting out at 90. They're still alive. Normal was 64%. I think that's so great. That's so great. Some with some impairment, 23%. Some with dementia, 13%. And here, again, is the study where we're looking at the incidence of dementia and what happened over 90. And ours is that pink line going all the way up. So we showed the risk of dementia definitely increases as we age. Now, it could be, too, that these other studies didn't have people that were 99 or 102, but we know for sure that the risk of dementia doubles every 5 years after the age of 65. Aging is the elephant in the room. Age is the biggest risk factor for dementia. The oldest old have the highest rates of dementia. Okay, so here are the risk factors and dementia, kind of like what we did with longevity. Anyone think any of these things will help us fight dementia? Vitamin E, vitamin C? No. Actually, none of them. None of them. We didn't find, in our publications and our data that any of these had any full help to prevent it. And then vascular risk factors, like again, strokes, hypertension, coronary artery disease, MIs, heart attacks, heart failure, AFib. So 46% had hypertension, and I'm going to tell you about that. That was the only one, which is going to sound very strange, to have hypertension and that help you prevent getting dementia. we found 46%, you saw so many of our people have hypertension. So why is that? How can that help us? Vascular risk factors did not distinguish participants with dementia and those without, except for hypertension. And what it is we had people, we evaluated with your cognitive testing, and again, the reduced odds of dementia were there with hypertension by 80% for full-blown, and with pre-hypertension, 70%. Again, it's crazy and it sounds so weird because when you're in your 60s, 50s, you don't want hypertension. Everyone gets treated for it, right? Because if it's too high, you could get a heart attack or a stroke. So here are some interpretations. So maybe what it is that normal blood pressure is different for people 90 and over, just like it is for children, right? So if you take your kid to the pediatrician, the norms for kids are not the same as for an 18-year-old. But why is it when you're 90 or 105 that it's the same 120 over 80 as though you're 20? So I really think that may be an answer. As we age, the vessels get tortuous, and they might need more pressure to pump the blood, right, through the brain. That could be why. And low blood pressure, we're not sure, but that could have been a marker for other diseases. Maybe it's medication effects that we don't know about, or maybe they had some other kind of medical care that we don't know about. Again, because this is all just pretty much what was recorded about their blood pressure. And now with the autopsy study, we see people every 6 months. We currently have 103 that have consented to it that are alive now. 680 were recruited, and we have 535 brains now that have come to autopsy that we've been able to study and publish about, which is amazing. So here, with the autopsy study, the age differences, so some with no dementia, that means we didn't find it in the brain, they had a mini mental exam of 27, which is very good. That's like normal. And the brain weight, 1149, which is very good. You can see the difference with those with dementia. So the age of 98, the score is much lower, 16, and the weight of the brain is smaller. So the brain is shrinking with age. Here's a brain with AD, and there's a normal one. You can see it's atrophy and smaller. And then with Alzheimer's disease, what do we find? Well, it's plaques and tangles, if you've heard of that. Amyloid deposits and tau deposits in the brain that cause problems with memory. So when we had a person that we followed till they died, and they had no dementia, right? They had good thinking skills. What did we find in the brain? Well, you think we're going to find a clean brain with no diseases, right? Because the person was normal. But actually what we found, we did find AD pathology in 42% of the brains. So what did they do to fight AD? They lived and were normal. And then, well, of course, what you do expect with no dementia, 58% without any disease in the brain, which makes sense. So that part is something to look at, you know. I'll tell you about the PET scans in a minute. And then people with dementia, for Alzheimer's disease only, the pathology was 60%, but others, 40%, where AD was not there. So again, it's a different disease, or we don't know, but AD was not found in 40% of the people. Here are the PET scans. That's what the machine looks like. And it's a radio tracer looking for amyloid plaques in the brain. And we did many studies with this, which I can tell you about one woman had such trouble lying on that bed. And I told her, it's okay, we don't have to do it. Well, you know, it's fine. She would not leave. I actually held her head in that scanner for the 15 minutes I stood there. And I mean, I was happy to do it, and I was fine, but it just shows you how committed our participants are. They really, really are something. There's the blue brain showing no amyloid, And then you can see the red is showing a brain with amyloid. And here's the other pathologies that may contribute to dementia in the oldest old. I told you a little bit about Lewy body, where it's a different protein in the brain, that they have fluctuations, sleep disturbances. They actually have hallucinations as well. And again, that would only be diagnosed through the neuropathology, from the brain. It's not seen on a scan. Microinfarcts, we found people that had very small, tiny strokes in their brain, and that caused their dementia. Hippocampal sclerosis is another. It's the hippocampus that is atrophied and disintegrating, and that could cause it. And this is our newest diagnosis. It's called late. Limbic predominant age-related TDP43, another protein, encephalopathy. It affects people that are 80 and older. It's newly published and talked about within the last 10 years or so. They have memory problems too, a slower rate of clinical change than those with Alzheimer's. And some things that are interesting about them, they may wander, get lost, make poor decisions, lose things, can't drive, poor hygiene. But that too can only be diagnosed once the brain is dissected and examined. Again, here with frequency of dementia by many diseases, what did we find here? Oops, sorry. You can see if a person had 1 or 2 or 3 different kinds of diseases, the risk goes higher and higher. And that makes sense, doesn't it? That you could have 3 diseases and you're more likely to get dementia than those that had nothing. And here's another little video.
Every day?
Yes, I read them in the evening.
Loring Bigelow spent 5 years in the study. He passed away last summer, and while Dr. Kim studies his brain, the rest of the 90-plus team independently reviews years of his test results and videos to assess whether he had developed dementia, and if so, from what. While early on his scores were strong,
Who is our president?
Obama.
over the years there was a gradual but unmistakable decline. He'd pick up a newspaper he had just finished, use the TV remote to try and make a phone call.
Do you know who is the president?
I want to say Herbert Hoover.
Okay.
I can't think of it.
Not remember his age, anxious.
The consensus here was likely Alzheimer's, which presumes a brain with plaques and tangles.
Are we ready to hear the truth?
Only then do they open up Dr. Kim's report.
Plaques, 0, so no plaques. Actually.
Wow.
No cortical tangles anywhere.
Pretty amazing.
What's amazing is they're finding that 40% of the time in people over 90, what doctors would think is Alzheimer's isn't. In Loring Bigelow's brain, Dr. Kim found something else. Something the 90-plus study is finding quite a bit. Evidence of tiny microscopic strokes called microinfarcts. His brain was full of them.
Here is a microinfarct. It's the hole, which is basically a tiny stroke.
So you've got all this tissue is missing.
If you find one, it suggests that you should probably look for others, and some patients may have hundreds or thousands of them.
These microscopic strokes are insidious because people don't even know they're having them.
They can be totally silent, and slowly but surely over time, you're picking off, you're disconnecting your cortex from the rest of the brain, and then you start to become demented. It can look just like Alzheimer's disease clinically.
So in summary, there is a remarkable increase in people living longer across the world, which is wonderful. The risk of dementia, however, continues to increase with age. Risk factors change with age, and multiple pathologies or multiple diseases are likely to be important in diagnosing dementia in aging. Did you hear? 95 is the new 65. Woo! And I'd like to thank people that I work with, our doctors, Dr. Kawas, Dr. Karada, Dr. Paganini Hill. We had collaborators at UC Davis, Stanford, UCLA, and the people I worked with. Here are some of the 90-year-olds you saw on the camera. So the woman looking at the newspaper, she lived to be 104. Amazing. Yeah, she did great. Here's a picture of our team. And thank you so much for having me.